Leave, go. Good evening. Hi, everybody. We apologize for starting a little bit behind schedule today, but then we're here and we're grateful. Who is on the line for now? Rahimat Motunrayo Motoyo. Please come back. We're here. So good evening, all ATP parents. Good evening, guardians and caregivers. Very good evening to all of you from Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Angela Okomadu. Good evening, Charity Ochufo. I can see you. Welcome. Hi, Ramat. Thank you for understanding. We appreciate. All right. So you know that all through this week, we've been discussing all things breastfeeding. And that's because August 1 to 7 every year is kept aside for to celebrate breastfeeding. A whole 1 week to celebrate breastfeeding. And that's to tell you how important this thing is and why in ATP we always sing it like a song. So the theme for this year, like we all know, is support breastfeeding for a healthier planet. We've had one program every day from my breastfeeding challenge, which is still going on Instagram and YouTube, to the celebration of exclusively breastfed babies. I've been reading so much stories that made me so happy. Well done, mommies. Well done. You're all doing awesome. And today, it's a question and answer session. So all you need to do is just bring in your questions. No talking, no speaking, no teaching, just your questions, and then we'll give you answers. And today, who else are we going to invite? If not, our very own Mama Beloved, Dr. Gbemisola Boyede.
Hi. Thank you, Angela. Thank you so much for having me. And good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And thank you so much for being part of our breastfeeding week. And like Angela said, we've read so many of your stories and they are quite inspiring. And so it's good to be here today. And like Angela said, today you've had a symposium yesterday, and our beautiful and excellent pediatricians have taught you all that you need to know about breastfeeding. And I'm sure you are not new to ATP, so you must have had enough of our breastfeeding on our group. They say, oh, you need some breastfeeding. So you have lots of information on breastfeeding already. So no problem. It is all about promoting breastfeeding this week. So this today is just for you to also say, ask more questions. Maybe there are some areas that you still think you need to know more about, and that's why I'm here today, and I'll be taking any question you may have on breastfeeding.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor. So Rahimat, Charity Ochufo, we see you. Hafisat Tiamiyu, we see you. Blessing Okeke, we see you. Omobolanle Akimbode, Amarasi, Oluchi, Sandra Isaac, Khadijat, Olore Folami. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Please send in your questions. Ogedebe Abimbola Omolara, thank you so much. Please send in your questions. We are waiting for you. But then, meanwhile, Doctor, why? I mean, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we celebrated World Hepatitis Day. It was just one day. Why is breastfeeding being celebrated for one whole week? What is so special about breastfeeding?
I think most of those other days also have their weeks and months. It's just that there will be a particular day set aside as the day. But breastfeeding, yeah, I think because breastfeeding is so crucial and it's like the foundation of everything else. So definitely we have to do it for 1 week. And because when it comes to sustaining the human race, then you know that we need breastfeeding. And just like every other mammals, every other animals that bring to life the young ones, they all breastfeed, and we humans as well. We have to breastfeed our babies, and other animals don't come to take human breast milk to feed their babies. So there's no reason why we humans should be going to animals to take their milk to feed our babies. We want humans to be fed on human milk, and that is essence of breastfeeding. So if we want our children obviously to behave like humans, then we should feed them with human milk. Anyway, that's a joke. But basically, I'm just trying to say breastfeeding is very, very important, and that is why it's important for us to talk about it. And we just definitely want to promote breastfeeding a lot because there have been a lot of challenges with what we call breast milk substitutes, and people begin to think those are better options rather than the breastfeeding, and missing out on the importance of breastfeeding. And so to really create that awareness and to keep promoting the benefits of breastfeeding, not just to the babies, not just to the mothers, not just to the family, but actually to the entire society. And that is why this week is set aside to talk about breastfeeding. And I think it's worth devoting an entire week so it's a cause that everybody should know about.
Okay, so in what ways, how can breastfeeding save the planet? I'm just wondering. We've heard stories about plastic, not burning things and all of that. Instead of using polythene bags, we use paper bags so that you save the planet. In what
Mm.
ways should breastfeeding save the planet?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question to start with. When you breastfeed, you don't need nothing else. You don't need anything else to breastfeed. You just need yourself and your baby. So imagine the other thing. If you are using breast milk substitutes, you are going to buy a can. It's the all packaged in can. So you are going to litter the environment with your cans, which cannot be degradable. You are going to buy plastic for your bottles, so you're going to end up having lots of plastic bottles. You are going to be boiling water, and you're burning fuel. You're burning whether you are using gas or whether you are using which other fuel you are using to boil the water. You are generating gas into the air, whether it's wood or gas, whatever method you're going to use. So you can see that every other method of feeding will generate waste and
Waste.
products that will actually endanger the environment. Whereas for breastfeeding, the breast milk is produced in your body, stored in your body. You clean your breast with water, wash your hands with water, which is something natural, and then you breastfeed your baby, and that's it. There is no waste generated. There's nothing that you are going to do that will harm the environment in any way.
I
So
see.
that's why breastfeeding is actually saving the planet. Whereas every other form of method, and even all those products that are breast milk substitute, remember that the manufacturers they produce them in factories, and they are going to also use a lot of generate a lot of fuel, burn this, burn that, and all that before they end up making those products. So there's going to, and of course, when you finish feeding your baby, what's going to happen to all your bottles and everything? You're going to go and throw them away and all that. So when we breastfeed, we actually not just in a way we're still protecting the environment because we're not generating those kind of non-biodegradable products, or you're using them as well. So those are the other ways by which breastfeeding can save our planet.
Wow, that's such an eye opener. I'm just visualizing all the milk products in the supermarkets and the shopping malls right now and how much they contribute to degrading the planet. Thank you so much for that. Um, Viewers, I'm still waiting for your questions. Please send them in now.
I just want to say that for those of our moderators who are on the watch party, please, if there are questions on the watch party, remember that we can say it live here. So you have to help us to bring in the questions that are on the watch party to the live video so that we can answer them. So the usual people that normally help us, I can see Omolara and Onyi and the rest of them. Please help us if there are questions on the watch party. Kindly help us, Vera. I'm sure you may be watching. You can also help us supervise that to make sure that those on the watch party can, with the question that they ask, we can see them in the studio so that we can address them as well. I guess
Right.
most of the questions people ask, we have answered them several times. So
I
it's
think
not
so too.
unusual. But tomorrow we are going to be asking you the questions. So it will be our turn to ask you the question in the quiz tomorrow. So get ready for that. So I look forward to you. I look forward to knowing who is going to be the winner of our breastfeeding quiz this year. We
Mm.
normally do breastfeeding quiz every August during the breastfeeding week, and it's our way of knowing that everybody knows what they need to know about breastfeeding. So we're looking forward to that tomorrow. So
All
if
right.
you have
Yeah.
any question, ask now so that tomorrow we will to be our turn to ask you. All right.
Okay. So, viewers, you can hear that, and my able moderators and supervisors, thank you as you bring in questions to the stream yard for us. Okay. So, Doc, when someone is pregnant, what are some of the things that a soon-to-be mother should do in preparation for breastfeeding?
Okay. So the first thing is to prepare your mind that you're going to breastfeed. Because I was on ATP Live on Instagram on Monday, and one of the questions somebody asked me, so I'm going to soon start work. My baby is eating a lot, and I'm not sure I can continue with this breastfeeding and all that. And I found out that the most important thing that would determine the success or the wise of breastfeeding is that decision that I'm going to breastfeed or not. And you have to make that decision before your baby is born. And so a lot of mothers are so scared, or they've heard of bad news or bad reviews from other mothers who breastfed their babies. And because of that, they are already making up their minds, ranging from the fact that, oh, maybe I may not be able to produce enough milk, or some people will say, oh, my breast is going to get flat if I breastfeed, and all those kind of things. So mothers have these fears and they begin to prepare, or they've had fears, oh, your breast may not come out for the first 2 3 days, and that means your baby will starve and all that. So, but I want to let mothers know that you can breastfeed and you can exclusively breastfeed as well. And so, the first thing you want to do during pregnancy is to make up your mind that I'm going to breastfeed my baby first. That's the first and most important thing. And then, of course, you can also begin to clean your breast properly. If you ask the nurses, they can show you, just to make sure it gets like the nipple. There are always some black stuff clogging the top of it. You can just clean it out each time you have your bath, just clean it out and all that. And then immediately your baby is born, make sure you deliver in a baby friendly facility. What do you mean by a baby friendly facility? Baby friendly facilities are facilities that are committed to promoting exclusive breastfeeding. And what do they do? So they don't separate the mother and the baby after delivery. They make sure your baby is with you within the first 30 minutes, 1 hour, and they support you to initiate breastfeeding. And so you sometimes you see them like, where is, well, we should put there, breastfeeding is welcome here. We don't want mothers to feel uncomfortable breastfeeding. You can breastfeed in a doctor's office, you can breastfeed in a baby friendly facility. Even if you are in the consulting room, we welcome you to breastfeed. If you want to breastfeed, we are very happy. We will not make you feel embarrassed or ashamed or anything. No. If you are the type that you are very conscious of your privacy, there are lots of these shield or sling or things like that mothers can wear, like breast cover, that you
Mhm.
can make sure you buy that as part of your shopping list of things to buy. So, but I think the most important thing is just to make up your mind that you're going to breastfeed. If you want to use the breast pump, there are electric or there are manual. But even your hands is the best pump. You can use it to express your milk and stuff, so that when you go back to work or when you are not available, you don't have to be the only one doing the work. If you express, other people can also help feed the baby, and while you take some breast as well. So this are kind of preparation, but I think that mindset preparation is most important of all, that I can and I will breastfeed my babies, and you will. But once you're already like, I may not, then the people, the naysayers, they're usually more, especially the grannies. And because the grannies always want to be the one in charge and taking care of the baby, and they notice that when you are breastfeeding, sometimes that hinders them from doing some of these things. So they always the first to quickly say, yeah, I don't think the baby is full. Oh, I don't think the baby is fully satisfied. Oh, I think you should go and buy milk. Oh. No, I think you should just tell them, don't worry, I can breastfeed my baby and I will. So it's your baby. It's nobody else's baby. It's you are the mother. So your decision goes. And if you say I'm breastfeeding, Mama, don't worry, I'm going to breastfeed. If mama wants to help, you can express, so that when you're sleeping in the night, they can help you feed the baby with express breast milk. But once you make up your mind that you can do it, you will do it. And don't be worried and anxious, because one of the things that usually hinder breastfeeding is anxiety. Unfortunately, it's a very vicious cycle. It's a bad vicious cycle. In other words, the more you are anxious about breastfeeding, the less likely you are going to be successful with breastfeeding. Because when you are anxious, you are producing what we call stress hormones, cortisol, and all that. And these hormones are anti-lactation hormones. In other words, when those hormones are high, your breast, because the body gets the impression that we have more important things to do now rather than breastfeeding. So breastfeeding is a relaxed kind of a situation. The hormones that control breastfeeding, they will only be produced when you are relaxed, when you are comfortable, when your baby is by your side, when you are thinking lovely thoughts about your baby. But when you are stressed out and you're worried and you're anxious, the hormones that are produced will hinder your body from producing breast milk. So that is why if you see most of the time when people ask me questions along this line, the first thing I always tell them is relax, relax, relax. I always say that relax. Many people just take it as a joke, but it is really a very, very important answer. I am not just saying it to make you feel relaxed. It's actually the answer to you lactating, because you need to relax to lactate. When you are anxious and you're worried, and you will not lactate. So it is not just a palliative, oh, because I'm trying to cool you down. No, it's actually the solution to your breastfeeding. By your relaxation, then your milk will flow. Think lovely thoughts about your baby. Make sure your baby is next to you. Sometimes when you just think of your baby, or when your baby cry, you see your milk, your body. Some of you who are mothers, you know what I'm talking about. When your baby is crying or anything, you just see your breast filling up with milk. There's a connection between the two. So that the minute your baby is crying, or you hear the voice of your baby, or you think about your baby, the hormones begin to produce. The hormone that stimulate breast milk production goes into action, and then your breast will fill up with milk. And when your baby suck, the milk flows out, and the body needs to replace what has flowed. That is a very important cycle that you get. So I hope that is really helpful for those who are potential mothers to be. You can breastfeed your baby, and it's something that is possible.
All right, thank you very much. So, making up your mind and then believing that you can do it is the first thing that you need to do. We have a question from Nellysophia Uboh, and she's asking, why do some mothers not lactate on time after childbirth?
Thank you. That's a very important question. Now, the first thing I want to really say about that question is the fact that most mothers will lactate. Now, immediately your baby, but the way the body works is that the body doesn't like waste. The human body is a very efficient mechanism. The especially breastfeeding or breast milk production operates on the principle of what we call demand and supply. If
Right.
there's no Yes, if there's no demand, there'll be no supply. So that is why we always say you must initiate breastfeeding within the first 1 hour. Unfortunately, some mothers will say, "Oh, I'm tired, though. I had CS." So the fact that you have CS does not mean you cannot breastfeed. Even if you have CS, you can breastfeed. Oh, I have no eating. That does not mean you cannot breastfeed. So it's the sucking. There's a principle we call milk lets down. Milk lets down is that flow of milk. So when a mother has given birth to a baby, the milk does not start flowing. Some mothers, the milk may start flowing, but for some people, it doesn't. It's not. For most people, it's actually not automatic. But your baby needs to suck on that breast. It's that sucking of the baby on the breast. That's the demand on the breast that will cause the milk to come down. That is number
Wow.
one. Number two, the first milk that comes out is not white. So most mothers are looking for white milk. Then they see something that look like water or yellowy something. They begin to think, oh, that means I'm not yet breast. I'm not yet lactating. The first few days, the milk that comes out is what we call colostrum. And that colostrum is laden with a lot of antibodies, protein, things that will protect your baby against infections. So it is something your baby must take. Some people will even think it's sour milk. They will throw it away, which is a very dangerous myth. That is actually the best that's your baby's first immunization. So you must never throw it away. And it is still milk, even though it doesn't look white. So some people think that that is not milk. So they think I've not started lactating because what they see is colostrum, but they were expecting the white milk. The white milk start coming after by the third day or so, when you go from what we call transitional milk to the full milk. So that is it. So the most important thing is that you must attach that baby to the breast within the first 1 hour of life. Breastfeeding must start within the first 1 hour of life. Don't be wasting, I'm tired and they are cleaning me up, they are cleaning baby up. All those things are not necessary. And I hope the nurses are listening to me, because the midwives, they like baby and mother looking very neat and nice and all that. The most important thing is to ensure the baby is established on breastfeeding. All the cleaning up, the baby don't need to, baby don't need a bath in the first 24 hours. They don't. They just need to clean them up. They don't need any bath. So you just clean up and put the baby to the breast straight away. Focus on your cleaning up the mother. The baby can be sucking while you're even tidying up the mother and cleaning up the blood and everything. The baby can start sucking immediately. That is what we want. And that process established. And we also want you to practice rooming in. This process where they take baby to nursery and they take mother to mother's room, which is like 10 miles apart. It's not good for the baby. It's not good for breast milk production. We want baby to be by the side of the mother immediately after birth, unless the baby is sick, unless baby has health condition, medical issues that the pediatricians are solving. Otherwise, the baby should be by the mother's side straight away, and the baby will start sucking. So that is how that works. Sometimes, in some cases, I know that sometimes even with all these methods, some mothers may not lactate and all that. Yes, then we can give alternative. But the most important thing, which is what I really want to emphasize, is that you don't stop the baby sucking on that breast because you are giving alternative, because you are going to actually completely suppress breastfeeding, which is what some people do. Oh, they have cesarean section, the mother is not breastfeeding the baby, they are giving formula. At the end of the day, when the mother is now ready to breastfeed the baby doesn't want to take breast milk anymore. The baby is only want to take formula. The breast is not even flowing. Then the mothers give up. It's a very common thing that that happens with mothers that have cesarean section in Nigeria, which doesn't necessarily need to happen, because I have had cesarean section myself, and I know other mothers who have had cesarean section. You can start breastfeeding. Most cesarean section are done as spinal. In other words, you are not asleep even when you're having your cesarean section. You are awake. So nothing stops you from breastfeeding your baby. Your baby is not breastfeeding from the uterus that was cut. Your baby can breastfeed even with this. And the fact that you have cesarean section doesn't mean you cannot. The only people that really are not able to breastfeed are those who had what we call general anesthesia and they are knocked out, completely knocked out. In other words, they are still asleep. And immediately awake, you can breastfeed your baby. The nurses can support you to breastfeed your baby. So when we practice all these things, the milk will flow. But while you are waiting for your milk to flow, just make sure you keep putting that baby to the breast. That's the most important thing. No matter what you do, keep putting the baby to the breast, because it is the sucking of the baby on that breast that will allow the milk to flow. And when putting the baby to breast, please make sure the baby is properly attached to the breast. This is also one of the errors that leads to breastfeeding issues. Most mothers, especially new mothers, put the baby on the nipple and not on the proper areola. When you're breastfeeding, the whole of the nipple and that black part that surrounds the nipple, what we call areola, everything should be in the mouth of the baby. If your baby is sucking on the nipple, nothing is flowing into the mouth of the baby. The baby is getting frustrated. You are getting frustrated because baby bites on your nipple is painful. The baby itself is also not getting anything, so the baby bites more on the nipple, and you feel pain. Baby is not happy. At the end of the day, everybody is frustrated. Please, when you want to breastfeed baby, make sure you put the whole of the nipple and the areola. You should barely see no black thing when you're breastfeeding. Everything should be in the mouth of the baby. So that's where the milk sinuses are, the milk banks. That's where they are. So it is when babies suck on that areola that the milk will be gushing into the mouth, and baby will be happy, mother will be happy, breastfeeding will be well established.
All right, thanks, Dr. Nellysophia. I hope you have your answer there. It's a case of demand and supply, whether the breast milk is flowing or not in the first 1 week. first 1 hour, sorry, attach the baby, let there be demand, let the breast know that I want something, and then the milk will come out. And the next question we have here is from Oluwakemi. She's asking, good evening, doctor. I have a 4-week-old baby and I notice he sometimes throws up after feeding. What is the cause? We are on EBF.
There are two possible things because you just use the word throw up. Actually, I always like to ask more questions. Most babies have what we call reflux. Reflux is the return of some of the breast milk back into the mouth or back into the from even sometimes through the nose after feeding, and it's because the space between the baby's mouth and the tummy is very short. So because of that, it is very easy for milk. If you look at a baby, they are small, like the size of between my two hands. So the space between the stomach and the mouth is really very short like that. So if you put them down immediately after you feed them, everything is just going back. And what we call the sphincter that separate the stomach from the food pathway, what we call the esophagus, is not very well developed in them. So it is very easy for babies to bring back some of the milk. And that is what we call reflux. It's not something to worry about. What we normally say is that when you finish breastfeeding, don't put baby down immediately. Keep your baby upright for 15 to 30 minutes and let the milk settle a bit before you put them down. And even if you do all that, some baby may still have a little reflux, but it won't be much. And that is okay. But if your baby is vomiting, actively vomiting, in other words, the baby brings out virtually everything that you breastfeed, then that is more serious, and that requires you taking the baby to see a pediatrician, because that means the baby may have some problems. But the commonest one is that reflux, which I've explained and I've told you what to do. But the vomiting is active. The baby is bringing out the whole milk forcefully, and when it is forceful, everything is coming back. That is a medical issue, and that baby needs to be seen by a pediatrician or pediatric surgeon for further assessment.
All right, thanks, doctor. Oluwakemi, I hope you have your response there.
Okay, Angela, are you with me?
Thank you. Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me,
Hello,
doctor?
Angela.
Can you hear me? Hi, doctor. Can you hear me?
Hello, Angela, are you with me?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm not sure whether Angela is with us. So.
I am. I can hear you. I can hear you. Our next question
Okay,
is,
we'll wait for Angela to come back.
I can hear you, Ma. Hi, doctor. Hi, doctor.
Yeah, I'm here with you. I think you muted yourself, Angela. Oh, I can't hear you. Okay, so can you breastfeed two baby of different age at of the same mother at the same time? Yes, of course you can. Especially if you are breastfeeding the other baby for very long, and what we normally recommend is that you space your babies. In other words, we expect you to have had a 2-year gap between one baby and the next baby. So which means that you by the time you're having the next baby, the other baby should be at least 2 years old and should be stopping breastfeeding. But if for any reason you did not do that gap properly, and you have maybe a 1.5-year-old and a newborn baby or a 6-week-old, you can breastfeed the two of them at the same time. As long as you're able to do the two, you are welcome to do it. There's no problem with that. You can breastfeed your two babies at the same time. But what is better so that you don't put too much pressure on yourself and too much pressure um and then you may want to actually make sure you space your pregnancy properly because it's a lot of demand on you as a mother. Pregnancy, breastfeeding, and breastfeeding two children at the same time. It's a lot of demand. I know some mothers think, okay, it doesn't matter, but it's one of the reasons you yourself you will age faster because you're putting so much demand on yourself. It's better you recover first and then you can now go on for the next thing. I mean, if you are having maybe two, three children, there's really no reason why you should have too many of them all together. It's for your own benefit, really. But there's nothing wrong as long as you're able to cope with it too. That's fine.
Okay. Doctor, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right, thank you. Chidima Earl is complaining. Please be prompt next time. Chidima, we appreciate that you waited for us. We don't take it for granted. But then we don't have control over technological issues. We apologize
We
and
are
thank
sorry,
you again for
Chidinma. We are
joining us.
here now. We started
Chidima,
about just 5 minutes behind, so we are here. So please ask your questions now. Thank you for your understanding.
yeah. All right. So the next question is saying, is it possible to preserve breast milk without refrigerator? And for those who want to resume work and might still want to exclusively breastfeed, how do they go about it?
Thank you so much, Akomolafe. That's a very important question. One, it is possible to preserve breast milk without refrigerator. You can keep your breast milk for up to 6 hours. Some people even say up to 8 hours at room temperature. In other words, if you express breast milk in the morning, as at maybe let's say you express it at 6 a.m. or 8 a.m., as at 2 p.m. or 4 p.m., that breast milk is still good to go. So you can express your breast milk. And so in other words, most mothers work between let's say 8 and 4, 9 and 5. So if you express breast milk by the time you are going to work, the baby can take that breast milk before you come back from work and your baby will be fine. But beyond 6 hours, you need to keep the breast milk and you can keep it in the fridge for 2 weeks. So if you keep the breast milk in your fridge, you can keep it for 2 weeks. If you keep it in a freezer, you can keep it for 3 months. So there are many ways. Yes, 3 months. You can, if you use a very dedicated freezer, those deep freezer that you don't open every second, you can keep your breast milk in them for 3 hours. I mean, for 3 months. So for mothers who are going to work, I appreciate you. I also was a working mother myself. So going back to work doesn't stop you from exclusively breastfeeding your baby. There are two options. Different people prefer different options. Some people are very good with lactating and they prefer to express the breast milk and keep it for whoever, like a nanny or the mother-in-law, whoever is going to be, or your mom who is going to help you take care of your baby. Some of us are very busy, so I take my baby with me to work. So most good places have very decent crèches, so you can keep your baby in a crèche at work, and then you can go breastfeed during your break time and all that. So you only need to go maybe once or twice. So if their baby is running out and they need you to come and breastfeed, then they just bring you and you come and breastfeed. So that's how I did mine. So those are the options that you have. But just to say that whichever option, the fact that um you are working does not stop you from exclusive breastfeeding. And now we're even begging the government, we're actually working towards mothers having 6 months as maternity leave. If you have 6 month maternity leave, like Lagos State, like Ekiti State, like I think Kaduna, you can actually stay at home and breastfeed your baby for the whole 6 months. So no need to express, no need to crash. So many governments and many organizations are taking on board that 6 month maternity leave right now. So that's a good one. But in the meantime, those of you that have to go back to work, I think most of you would have done 3 months. So during that 3 month period, always be expressing and be keeping your breast milk, express and be keeping in your freezer so that by the time you go back to work, then you can, those people who are helping you out with the baby can still help you with the breastfeeding. I mean, with
Okay,
the
thank you.
using the express breast milk, yes. Yeah.
Adebukola, there you have it. Um, the next one is coming from Augustina Ogochi, and she's saying, my baby of 10 months don't like any solid food, even pap,
Mm.
just breast milk. What can I
Mm,
give her? I did EBF for 6 months.
mm. So you're doing EBF for 6 months, which is this is a very common complaint mothers like to do, and most mothers like to blame exclusive breastfeeding for the fact that the baby is not eating. That's actually not true. In fact, babies on exclusive breastfeeding tends to eat better because they already been tasting all those food in the breast milk. That is actually the truth. The reason why most of you struggle with complementary feeding is just pure technique problem. Most mothers don't know how to go about it. You don't know how to go about complementary feeding. Every time I answer questions, every time people ask me a lot, I see a lot of mothers telling me how did they how all I want to do is how did you start? How did you go about it? And I see the errors and all that. So what I want you to do, okay, you've taken out that question. I forgot the name of the person asking. Is to go to our Facebook group, go to the unit section. We have a whole unit on complementary feeding. We have videos as well on complementary feeding. So please go and watch those videos. When you are starting complementary feeding, you need to start small. You need to start with one food at a time and gradually increase. You don't start complementary feeding like you just put the baby. It's not a replacement feeding. When you are starting breast complementary feeding, you are still breastfeeding fully. You are not reducing your breastfeeding, but you are now adding. That is the word complement means add. You are now adding other food gradually. I'm choosing my words very carefully. So those words carry a lot of weight. But the problem is that most mothers just want to jump straight from breastfeeding to something completely different. It's never going to happen. And then most mothers are very impatient because you've done one food one day and then you say, oh, the baby didn't take it that day. That's the end of that food. That is not how to introduce new food. You need to offer new food for up to 13 times. That is minimum of 1 week before you can say that baby didn't take that particular food. And when you are giving the first meal, it is just 1 spoon. Then before you go on to 3 spoons, before you go on to 5 spoons, before you go on to a full meal. So these are the simple strategies that mothers don't go patiently through. And then they just say, oh, they give one bowl of this particular food. The baby didn't take it that day. That's the end of that one. Now, because by the time I see somebody tell me after 7 months, when the baby is 7 months, they will have tried everything, then I say you have tried too much because it means you are not following the principles. And complementary feeding is not pap. It's not just only pap and it's not formula. There are so many foods that the baby can be introduced to as complementary feeding. So it is not just okay, I'm going to give pap or I'm going to buy this formula or I'm going to buy this particular cereal. That is not how to go about complementary feeding. So luckily for you, we have those video series again on complementary feeding. So when you are exclusive breastfeeding, by the time your baby is 4 or 5 months, start watching those videos. Start planning how to go about complementary feeding. I find that when people do it, when people follow the principles, it's easy. It is not difficult. But when you don't be in a hurry, like most mothers just see, thank God EBF is over. Let me just relax. No, you are not yet relaxing. You are still breastfeeding as like when you're on EBF. Yeah, only it's only that EBF is no longer going to be enough. So we want you to add other things. So it is not a replacement feeding, which is winning. It is a complementary feeding. There are two important things, two different things. Winning means you stop breastfeeding and you start something different. Complementary meaning you continue to breastfeed, but you are now adding other food to it. So that today is not about complementary feeding. I can talk about that
Yeah.
for another whole day. But please go to the unit section and do the unit 102 on complementary feeding for better understanding.
All right. Augustina, patience, patience. And just like the French people will say, apoti, small, small. And then you will get to that place. Oluchi is asking, what's the relationship between pattern of birthing a baby and lactation?
There's nothing. Doesn't matter whichever way you have your baby. Your breast. The most important thing is that your baby is put to the breast. So I've already given a lot of examples because the commonest one that people always blame is, oh, I have cesarean section, so I couldn't breastfeed. It's a lie. You can breastfeed straight away, even after cesarean section. So the fact that whether you have a cesarean or a normal vaginal birth or whatever form of the assisted delivery you had, the most important thing is that that baby is put to the breast. The only people that may struggle is those who have cesarean section under general anesthesia. Maybe they have very serious complications and they just have to put them to sleep. But otherwise, most people do cesarean section under spinal, which means you are awake. So there's nothing wrong with you. It's only the womb that was operated on. You can put your baby to the breast, you can breastfeed straight away. So there is no link whatsoever between whether you have a normal vaginal delivery or a cesarean section or assisted instrumental delivery. Whichever form of delivery you have, you can start breastfeeding your baby. That 1 hour, don't miss it. Don't miss that crucial 1 hour. We used to say 30 minutes, but at least we've tried to be more lenient and we've tried to make it 1 hour now. Every baby must be put to breast within the first 1 hour. And as long as baby is put to breast within the first 1 hour, all will be well.
Okay. Patience Emmanuel
Okay, I
Jonah
think
Patience is asking, what happens when the baby is weaned
we've
earlier?
lost my host. Are you back?
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Angela, are you back?
I'm here. I'm here, ma'am. I can hear you loud and clear.
Angela.
I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, so
good.
Patience Jonah is asking, what happens when the baby is weaned earlier, like 6 or 8 months?
What do you mean wean earlier? Do you mean you stop completely breastfeeding at 6 to 8 months? I guess that's what you meant. If that's what you meant, nothing happens. No, it's not as if nothing happens, but maybe it's still missing out on the benefits of breastfeeding, because I think my colleagues did justice to that yesterday on the symposium on breastfeeding. So it is just like you have cut short those benefits to the baby, to yourself, and to the society. So we want you to breastfeed for as long as you can. We say 2 years. If you stop earlier, then you are losing some benefit. The longer you breastfeed, the more you are protected against breast cancer as a mother. So that's a benefit for you. And of course, it also helps you return your uterus to shape. It helps you space the babies as well and all that. And your baby at that 6 months, that is the period where your own antibodies that you pass to your baby via during the time baby was in the womb and during the time of breastfeeding. If you stop breastfeeding at 6 months, your baby's immunity is just starting, and your own immunity that the baby got from you is waning. So if you stop breastfeeding, you are exposing that baby to risk of infections. It's going to be higher. So at 6 to 8 months, it's not just about feeding now. Breastfeeding is about protecting your baby from infections and all that, because all the other substitutes, they don't have that's why breast milk is still the best, and no other substitutes can replace breast milk, because none of them will give your baby immunity against infections. And that immunity is customized immunity. It is what you as a mother has been exposed to before. In other words, depending on where you live and where you have been exposed to, you are protecting your baby against those infections as well. But if you go and just give formula cannot be customized to what you have been exposed to. Formula is only food. It doesn't really contain all those antibodies, all those protective agents. So even though your baby will still be eating, your baby may be gaining weight, but your baby is higher with terms of risk for infections and all that. So the longer the better, really. The longer the better for you and for the baby and for the society as well.
Okay, thanks, Doctor. Ngukin, thank you for joining us. Please keep on
Thank
asking
you.
your questions. We're waiting for you.
Are there no question on the watch party, or is there nobody who is helping us bringing the question in? I have a feeling there are questions that nobody is bringing to us. Please,
I'm sure
moderators, if you are watching, help us. So, Omolara, I think I've seen you there. Please help us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so doctor, does the size of the breast, does it matter when it comes to lactation and breastfeeding? Is too small, is too big? Is there a difference?
Thank you. That's a very good question. It doesn't have any relationship. You know what? Milk, what your baby need is the milk. It's not the fat. Most of what you people see, what makes your breast big or small is the fat. Is the fat in the
Mm,
breast. It is not the milk. Everybody has 20 milk sinuses, whether you have a big breast or whether you have a small breast. It's still the same 20 milk sinuses, and it's that milk that your baby needs. So, but there are some logistics that may affect those who have very small breasts and those who have very big breasts. Those who have very big breasts sometimes struggles not to use their breast to block their baby's nose and all that because of that logistics. So you have to do a lot of holding back a little
carry.
bit so that the whole breast doesn't fall on the face of the baby and block their nose strings and all that. And those who have very small breasts may have the logistics of having to carry the baby up higher so that the breast can really fit into the mouth and all that. But otherwise, the milk itself is the same milk, is the same product. In other words, your lactation does not depend on the size of your breast. It doesn't depend on the size of the breast. What the size of breast is just fat, but the milk is still the same milk, sinuses and all that. So that's what is important to us as pediatricians. So, but the most
Mm,
important thing is that you breastfeed the baby and you take care of the logistics. Some people also have what we call flat nipple, inverted nipple. You know, most people's nipple are pointing out, but some people's nipple is flat, while some people's nipple is actually into the breast itself. So those people may also struggle a little bit with breastfeeding, but there are ways around it. So usually if you have a flat nipple or inverted nipple, IN inverted nipple, we have to there's a way you have to for kind of draw out that nipple before you have your baby. So the nurses have their method. Sometimes you just if you get the syringe, if you pull out the plunger inside if you pull it out and then you just use it to press on your breast, kind of that vacuum pressure can kind of suck it out. If you see a nurse, they can demonstrate to you how to do that. So you can start doing that gradually before you have your baby. That may help pull out those who have inverted nipple or flat nipple. That may help. But some people, no matter what they do, their nipple is really hard to come out. So what they need to do is that they may just have to express the breast milk and use it and give the baby with cup and spoon. But if you start doing that method, that vacuum pressure, the nurses are very good in explaining this or demonstrating it to you, then you will not you'll be fine and you will not need to you'll be able to breastfeed your baby. Those are just logistics of breastfeeding, but the breast milk itself is the same, and is the breast milk is produced daily fresh as when needed. It is a demand and supply mechanism. The body above waste. So when your baby demands for breast milk, more milk will be produced and stored, but the body is not going to produce excessive milk ahead. So that's how it works.
all right. So, um, this is from Ifeoluwa Owolabi. Good evening, doctor. Please, I want to ask when to wean a baby when the mother discovered she's pregnant. The child is a year older.
Okay, this one is even an easy one. That's a straightforward one. I've seen those who ask me when they are. Is this? I think the youngest I've seen is 2 weeks or 6 weeks old, and the mother is already
Whoa,
pregnant again. Yes,
whoa.
I'm not exaggerating. You can go to ATP and go and search for it. I'm sure if I look for that post, I will find it. In fact, it got to a point I was like, what is going on? You guys should do family plan. So you can stop anytime if you want to, but you can also breastfeed if you want to. So with what we call tandem nursing. So it
Mm,
depends on you. I always say it depends on you as a mother. Do you have the capacity to cope with both the pregnancy and the breastfeeding? some people have very easy pregnancy, first trimester, they are eating well, they're fine. So for people like that, you can keep breastfeeding until whenever you can keep breastfeeding. You can even breastfeed the two of them together, like somebody has asked today. But if you are struggling, vomiting, because when you are breastfeeding and you are pregnant, your calories requirement has gone higher. So there are two parasites. Apologies. There are two people now depending on you for their nutrition. So you have a newborn in the womb, you have another one on the outside. So you need to, and this is the time that most people, because you're pregnant, you're also not even in the mood to eat yourself, and or you are vomiting and all that. So it's a little bit complex. So if your baby is 1 year and above, you is already eating complementary food, family food, I would just say wean the baby and give formula as the mixed sauce. But if you are able to cope with the breastfeeding, why not continue until you are able to? You can continue to whenever you are ready to continue for. Some people breastfeed the baby for 3, 4 years. There's nothing wrong with it. We just say breastfeed for minimum at least 2 years. So it's fine, but there's no problem. But just to say, like I keep saying, most mothers, this thing, it can tell on you. It's pressure on your own body, and you need to be. I always want the mothers to know that we need you as pediatricians. We want our mothers alive and want you healthy, because nobody can take care of your children like you. Nobody can take care of them. So I don't like mothers putting themselves through unnecessary stress. If you can avoid it, please space your pregnancy. There's no rush. Space your pregnancy minimum 2 years. Let there be at least 2 years gap between the babies, so that your body has recovered. It's a lot of stress. Pregnancy, delivery, breastfeeding. It's a lot of stress on the woman, on the body of a woman. So we want you to recover. That 2 years is for you to recover. So you've recovered, then you go for another one. But if you go quickly, you don't have time to recover in between the two. Number two, it's put the second pregnancy. It makes that pregnancy more what we call higher risk pregnancy compared to the pregnancy you have after you are fully recovered. So your doctors have to keep an eye on you and all that. So those are the challenges. So if you can avoid it, fine. But if you find yourself in this situation, please just do what you think you can cope with. And I know that most mothers have done it. I know some mothers. I know one of my mom's friend, and all her children is just 1 year apart, and like if she has like 6 or 7 of them, and I'm like, how did she do it? And she's so strong, and so you wouldn't even know she had like 8 or 7 children. She was still
Wow.
so slim and so fine. So some mothers are very strong like that, but all of us are not like that. So I've seen people would try the same thing, and then it end the wrong way. So please be careful. Please do
All right.
family planning in between your babies. That's just the message I'm passing. Yeah.
Ifeoluwa, you've heard though. After this one now, just straight to family
Exactly.
planning, please, so that you will be alive to take care of all of
No,
these
we're not
things.
picking on Ifeoluwa. I'm just talking generally, because, like I said, I've seen people ask that question when the baby is 2 weeks. I think the youngest I've seen is either 4 weeks or 6 weeks old baby. Yes, I will look for that post. I'm so sure I've seen that post on ATP.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so Glory Ijoma is asking, can you breastfeed a baby while pregnant for another?
Yes, I think we just answered that question.
Similar.
Yes, the
Yeah, we
answer
just
is yes. Yes.
You can. Glory, you can. If your last question answered that. Now, Joy Bemi Ademola is asking, hello, doctor, can a child struggle to be an independent person if he or she is breastfed for up to 2 years and beyond?
No, I understand where you are coming from, because I know
Yeah.
most mothers think, oh, breastfeeding means the baby will be gum bodied to you and all that. Not necessarily. That has nothing to do with breastfeeding. It has to do with parenting, if you can put it that way, and or temperament. Some children are very clingy, no matter whether you breastfeed them or not. They are
Or not.
just mommy, mommy. Yeah. While some children are so independent and they don't really bother. I know there's a tendency to think that babies that are breastfed longer may be more clingy I'm not really sure. I'm not really. I mean, you have to look into the evidence or research into that, but I personally don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. But I think it's something that we may want to research into for the future. But personally, I don't. I really don't think so. I
Okay.
don't think so.
All right. So moving on, Victoria Banigo is asking, I lost so much weight when I breastfed my babies, though I ensured I ate well during this period. Could breastfeeding be the cause or stress?
Why are you complaining now? This is what some people are looking for.
I'm just wondering.
Some of us are looking for this kind of weight loss now when we are breastfeeding. Some people we gain weight. Eh? Okay, so one man's this is what they mean by one man's blessing. It's another man's what now? Because I know some people are looking for how to lose their weight. You lost the weight, so now you're worried about it. But okay, back to your question is the fact that yes, breastfeeding can make you lose weight, but not excessive weight loss. But you remember that when you're breastfeeding, you need to increase your calorie. I don't know how much you were eating before, and I don't know how much you were eating because though you say you were eating well, but you may just need to eat a little bit more. But it's okay. As long as you are not like on the weight, I think it's a good thing if you lose your pregnancy weight. But if you are worried that you are on the weight, that you need to eat, just eat more. That's all. Eat more. It is a good body mechanism. Maybe you are one of those who have a good metabolism. You metabolize faster and all that. Eat a lot of protein. Make sure you eat a lot of things that build up your body and or see your doctor. Just make sure there's nothing else. Well, stress is possible. I don't know, but were you stressed? You didn't really tell me. Breastfeeding is not stress, so breastfeeding is not stress. Breastfeeding is something you should just enjoy. It's part of motherhood. It's the only reason that people are stressed is because if they have to go to work, if they have to take care of other children, and that's why I love the African culture. The African culture believes that a new mom should be supported. So you always have a lot of people, mother-in-law coming, mother, your own mom, omugo, and all that. It's a good concept because so all they want you to do I always love it when I have my babies. All I do is eat and sleep and breastfeed. I don't do nothing. Somebody is doing all the cooking, all the cleaning. I just breastfeed, baby. That's my job. And to be honest, for a new mom, that's all the job you have. Your job is to eat and breastfeed and take care of the baby. Let other people do every other thing else. And I mean that if they need to, let them go and hire help. Your job is just to breastfeed, baby, and you should sleep when your baby is sleeping and you should be awake when your baby is awake. So don't be stressed. And if don't be afraid, don't be ashamed to ask for help when you're a new mom. Ask or when or a mom generally, when you just have a baby. Ask for all the help in the world. Let everybody come and help you. Don't say no. Let them come. Let them do all the help. Just make sure you have your boundaries in place. So that's it. But Victoria, I think I love your body system, but if you think you've lost too much, please eat more and then or see a dietitian because then you actually have to look at how much you are eating because sometimes you may think you are eating well, but maybe you are not somebody who is eating a lot generally before. But when you are breastfeeding, you're actually going to need more calories. So a dietitian can work out the calories and make sure there's no other health issues that could be affecting you in terms of making you lose weight.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Victoria, you've heard though. It's 4 years after, and I'm still battling with my own weight loss. So ain't you lucky?
I really wish I am like Victoria now. Some of us have to go and jump. Some of us have to do exercise, carry
Exactly.
weight, so you jump up and down before we lose all the weight. So
Oh my God. Sylvia Godwin, thank you for complimenting our doctor. We
thank you,
appreciate you
Sylvia. Thank
too.
you. I
Miss
appreciate you.
Sylvia.
Thank you for watching.
Oluchi is back again. She's asking, what about a baby that stopped breastfeeding on his own before 8 months of age, even when the milk was expressed to the cup? My sister's baby
Mm.
did this. Hope no health implications.
Yeah, we do have those kind of babies that have what we call baby-led weaning. That is what we call baby-led weaning. There are many complex factors involved, but I won't want to go into that. I personally know that one of the well, talking scientifically now as a pediatrician, one of the reasons why most babies wean themselves because mothers actually have reduced their breastfeeding rates at that time, because usually most mothers have started working, so they go from morning till night, and the baby is not taking breast milk, the baby is taking other food. So after a while, the baby just feel like there's really no point. Let me just kukuma stop this breastfeeding. Let me first focus on the other food. So the baby could not be bothered. It's one of the commoners. It's very, very rare to see a baby who is actually having a mother with them 24/7, weaning themselves so early. So we know that it's sometimes related to the process involved, but it is a possibility. And but you can still give that baby breast milk if the mother still wants to breastfeed. Like you said, you can give through you can give it as through the cup. You can put it on the pap. You can put it with the other food. There are so many ways you can still give. It's just like milk. Breast milk is milk. So you the same way you can use every other milk, you can still keep giving the baby the breast milk. But we know it's possible, and there's nothing you can do about it if your baby stop breastfeeding. If you are still lactating, you can express and add it to whatever food you are giving the baby. Whatever food, the cereal, whatever, you can just add breast milk to it. The longer the baby gets breast milk, like I said, the better, because of the protection. It's about protection now. It's about the antibodies. It's not just about the food. Baby is already eating food, obviously, and baby is fine, but we want baby to still be protected against infection. So that's why we want you to do breastfeeding as long as you can, if possible.
Okay. So while waiting, you mentioned who saying feed for 2 years at least, and then but you've seen people who breastfed for 3 and 4 years.
Yes,
Doctor,
I've seen it.
how long is too long? When is it now too long for you to continue?
To be honest, there's no answer to that. There's no long too long. I think it's a individual thing. Some mothers actually enjoy doing the breastfeeding thing. I've seen grown men that want to be breastfed. But for us as pediatricians, 2 years is fine for us. 2 years is
Mm,
fine, because most time by 2 years you should be having another baby anyway. So for us, 2 years is fine. But if you want to go for as long as you who own the body, you are not complaining. What is our own? We won't complain now. So 2 years is fine, but some others just love it and they do it as long as they like.
continue.
When we
Wow.
say 2 years, we say at least 2 years. There's no WHO, UNICEF, nobody has put a termination on when is the longest. The minimum is what we normally talk about, which is 2 years.
2 years. All right. I have. So Halima is asking, Halima Omar, what is the best way of spacing a child because of the side effects of family planning?
Alima, today is about breastfeeding, to be honest, but I will answer your question because as a Jara to this question, there are lots of methods of family planning, and not all of them have. It depends on your body and what works for you, but there will be something that works for you. There, for example, if you use like condom or you use the female condom, it's also available, or diaphragm. Most of those ones, what we call barrier method, they don't really have any bad side effects. The only thing is that most time you have to keep putting them in, and some people don't want to be bothered with putting something to their body and all that. So what you need to do is go to the family planning provider in your area. In the most government hospitals, health centers, they have family planning providers. They will ask you lots of questions, and when they ask you lots of questions, then they will be able to tell you this is the best family planning method for you. I'm not going to say breastfeeding, even though I know I'm talking about breastfeeding today. I'm not going to say breastfeeding is the best, because breastfeeding is good as a form of family planning, but it is not 100%. So all the mothers on ATP that are always asking me, I'm pregnant, can I still continue to breastfeed? They know themselves. It is because they have EBF, and they are using EBF as their family planning method. It is not foolproof. It is not foolproof. So 98% is possible, but some people are so fertile, so they, even without seeing period or anything, they can get pregnant. So we don't want you to risk that. So it's better to we usually recommend that after 6 weeks you should go for family planning. So we encourage you to go for. There's something that will fit your body, whether it's hormonal, whether it's a tablet, whether it's injection, whether it's the coil, whether it's the diaphragm, whether it's the condom. Even if your husband has the condom, then that's fine. So you just have to find something and just know, because you can use that in addition to the breastfeeding. But breastfeeding is not 100%. But I've seen people that use only breastfeeding and they're fine. Some people, as long as they're breastfeeding, they won't see, they won't ovulate, they won't see period, and they won't have pregnancy. But some people are not like that. So just go for the family planning. There are options. There are definitely options. I know there's no idea. What you are looking for is the ideal family planning method. The honest truth is there's none. There's no, the ideal family planning method is 100% foolproof, no side effects, nothing. But there's none. Everything is as even the one, most of them
Right.
99%, 99 point something, but it's still not 100%. So that's just the reality, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay, so Ojo is not really asking a question, but maybe you can advise her. I think she lives in the diaspora and saying we are facing the stress, for
Stress of what?
um, breastfeeding exclusively. I'm sure they don't have the kind of support that we have here in Nigeria, maybe.
No, 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 no. Ojo, I disagree with you. And those of you in diaspora, some of you have 1 year, 1 year maternity leave. What stress are you
Oh,
facing? Yeah, some of you have 1 year maternity leave. You can even decide that you, as long as you are not, you are not yet ready to work, they will leave your work for
hmm.
you. Unless you want to tell me, I know the stress you are facing is that you don't have a mother-in-law, you don't have omugo. Yes, you don't have omugo, but you also have other things that people in Nigeria don't have. Most of you abroad, you have most of them take 1 year maternity leave with
Wow,
salary.
wow,
So what are you talking about? So, but you can breastfeed, and in diaspora, you have other options as well. You people have health visitors, you have all those people who are checking up on you, you have people that you can call for support and all that, which we don't have in Nigeria. The only thing we have in Nigeria is that we have our mother and mother-in-law coming to help us. But you just have to pay for that help. You may have to pay for what's it called? You have to pay for somebody to come and clean up your house. You have to pay. Then childcare is expensive. If you have another baby, yeah, childcare is expensive. Somebody to help you take care of your baby in diaspora. But otherwise, in terms of maternity leave and all that, I think you are better than those of us in Nigeria. I think so. Anyway, every area has its own good and
sure.
its own thing. But to be honest, I don't think you are stressed as the Nigerians. Even to this, even nowadays in Nigeria, some mother-in-laws and mothers are also becoming, they are executives themselves, and they don't have time to come and do omugo. So everybody is learning to take care of their babies by themselves, and that is why you should just have what you can cope with, two, three, just be happy. But if you can cope 4, 5, that's fine as well. But just make sure you don't complain to Dr. Gezi. All right.
Talking about executive mother-in-laws, I remember my mommy told me when I had the second child that she wouldn't leave her shop and come and do a mogo. I should leave my husband's house and follow her to her house. And that was what we had
No.
to do.
Wow, you see now, it's not easy again, no, but
Not
well,
yeah.
we are all living in the this is what they call it now. This is the 21st century. Things are changing, and we just have
Everyone
to
is
adapt.
hustling.
Everybody's also, and people are growing older, so even mother-in-laws 60s, 70s, 60s, they are still working, and they are also very busy in their lives, so they don't have time to come and do mugo for long. So that
True.
just have to cope. Yeah.
All right. So moving on, Jennifer Ehiri is asking, should milk be added to every complementary food of a baby? She's referring to formula.
It depends on what complementary food. I have a feeling you are one of those people who believe cereal is complementary feeding. No, and that is what I've been trying to address. Pap cereals is not synonymous with the name complementary food. So, for example, let's say you are giving the baby amala and semo. Will you add pap? Will you add milk into that? You won't. So that's what I meant. So you can give the baby milk to drink as a separate as the dairy, but it's not compulsory you have to add milk to every complementary food. And when people say complementary food and they say that kind of question, it means you are thinking of a cereal. Those are the things we normally add milk to. There is what we call the concept of my food plates. So on a food plate, in complementary feeding, there are about 6 classes of food. Your baby must take at each feeding 4 out of those 6. So you have what we call the protein giving food or body building food, or you can be animal protein like meat or fish or crayfish, or plant protein like your beans, your lentils. Then you have the carbohydrates or energy giving food, which can be your cereals, which can be your tuber, like yam and cassava and all those stuff. Then you have your fruits and veggies. Then of course you have your fats and you have your oil. You have your milk and dairy, the dairy products. Which one have I left out now? Okay, there are 6 of them. I've forgotten one. So each time your baby is eating, you must have all those, at least 4 out of those 6 on the plate. You understand? It can be 4 out of it. So there's something like a carbohydrate. Let me give you, for example, if you're giving like a pap, your pap is a carbohydrate. If you are giving milk with the pap, that milk is a dairy. You must add something to that pap, because that is just 2 things. So you must have something like crayfish or egg or whatever. That would be your protein. Then you must have something that has fat. Maybe you put a spoon of palm oil or something into it. That will be your fat and your oil. You understand? Of course, then your fruits. Then your fruits and your veggies. So you must have some fruits. You can decide to put banana into that your cereal paste and blend it together. So inside that pap, you've completed 5 or 6. That is what we want your baby to eat. But giving pap and milk, that is just true. And that is not adequate. And that is not the kind of complementary feeding we want you to be doing. So today is not about complementary feeding. So I don't want to be going more into details than this. But the quick answer to your question is no. But the most important thing is that you are giving at least 4 out of the 6 classes of food when you're doing complementary feeding. Yeah.
Okay, Jennifer, you have that. I think we already answered this. Hope is asking what family planning method is suitable while breastfeeding that wouldn't affect the breast
we have
milk supply.
we have not answered this, but I
Okay.
will just we just put chip in, because there are some breastfeeding methods that can affect a breastfeeding mother. They are not compatible with breastfeeding.
Mm.
Most of the OCPs, that's the oral contraceptive pills, are really not compatible. But there's what we call mini pill. Mini pill is progesterone only pill, and those hormonal ones that are purely progesterone only, they are compatible with breastfeeding. All the barrier methods are compatible with breastfeeding. So barrier methods like uh, what's it called? Like using condom, using your diaphragm, using all those ones, they are compatible with breastfeeding. Using your coil is compatible with breastfeeding. So, but the only thing that is really not compatible with breastfeeding is just those. I think oral contraceptive pills and all that, but the mini pill is okay as well, so you can use it. Yeah, so there are not so many of them that are not compatible with breastfeeding. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. So Victoria gave us an update. She said she stopped breastfeeding a year ago and she's back to her ideal weight. We're
Oh,
happy for
congrats.
you.
I think your weight is okay. Maybe your ideal weight is too small.
Well done, Victoria. Thank you, Amarachi. Thank you. Thank you, Halima. All right.
Yeah.
So, while waiting for more questions, Doctor, should a parent wake up children, babies who are less than 6 months in the night to feed them? I mean, some babies tend to sleep all night. Do you think the mother should wake that child to feed?
Yes, you can. You don't need to wake them up. You can just feed them. Breastfeeding is something babies can do even when they're sleeping. If you put the
Okay.
breast in their mouth, they will suck. They will suck. And so most babies usually they do 3 hours or 4 hours gap in between feeds. So even that waking up to breastfeed may not be more than once or twice in the night. So in other words, let's say you've before your baby sleep at 8 or 9, you've breastfed. Then maybe you breastfeed that again, maybe around 12 or 1. Then the next breastfeeding will be in the morning, maybe around 4 or 5 a.m. So it is not like you have to wake them up all the time to breastfeed. But most babies, at that stage, especially when they are still like 1, 2 months old, their stomach is very small, so the milk runs out. Most of them they wake up by themselves anyway. But for a few babies that sleep well through the night, you can breastfeed them. You can just sit up, put them to the breast. You don't need to wake them up. You can just tap their feet a little bit, then their mouth will open, and then they can start sucking. They can suck and be breastfeeding. They are two compatible activities, so that's fine.
Okay. Good evening,
Okay, somebody
Valentina.
say no
Thank you.
Omugo doctor. I know you are missing the Omugo, but at least you have 1 year maternity leave.
All right. So there's a follow up from Hope Olochi. She's saying we don't have leave because we're into business. When we lock up
Oh,
our business outlets, how do we feed? I mean, any advice for
uh,
her? She's now in control of her time because
yeah,
she's a
but
business
you
person.
can breastfeed and take your baby to walk. There are many ways. That's not the goal for today, but I can. You just have to be willing to pay somebody else to work for you as well. Don't shop alone. No. So I know people that do that, some of my friends. So they pay somebody else to run the business, to open the shop. And by the time the baby is about 3, 6 months, they go with the baby to the shops. You create a corner for the baby on the side and you're doing your business. You're going to breastfeed. You actually are better off than most people because you have more control over your time. You can decide to open your shop at specific hours. Maybe you can say that okay, I will open at 9, 10 instead of the normal 8 o'clock or whatever you normally open. You may decide to close earlier. So there are many ways around it. And I'm sure there is not only you that is feeding your family. I mean, that is there now. That is who must be working and also feeding your family. But of course, I know you want to support, which is a good thing to do as a wonderful mother that you are. But just pay somebody else to do your job for you. And there are ways around it. Don't worry, there's way. But you just that don't put yourself under so much pressure. You are definitely not going to make as much money like you will make when you are fully the one running your business and doing everything and there from morning to night. You must be willing to accept that okay, I may not be making like 100% of what I'm making before. Maybe even if it's just 50 or 75% I'm making, then that's fine. Just manage. It's just for 6 months. After 6 months, you can decide to take your baby to crash and be going to your business, but you still pay the crash person. So you have to decide which one you want to do. To be honest, it's not easy, but I believe that there's always a solution in every situation. Yeah.
All right. So someone is asking, not here, but sent this privately. Any advice on somebody with breast implants? Are they able to breastfeed? And then those with piercings,
Yes.
what do you think?
Yes, they can breastfeed. I think Dr. Ayu has answered that question that they can breastfeed. So yeah, there's nothing. Your breast implant is put into your fat area of your breast. It's not put into the milk area. So, but I will always say, if you want to do all those cosmetic surgery, why not finish first? Finish having your babies. Finish breastfeeding all your babies. When you hang your boots, like my ATP moderators always say, then you can go and do your cosmetic surgery. I think it's better for you. I think make life easier for you generally. So I would just say if you are still having babies, wait. And then after you finish having your babies, then go and do your implants. I think that will solve you going back to visit people like Dr. Ayo several times. But if you so that you just visit once and for all and you know you're done. So that's just my own personal opinion advice. But like I said, the surgeon will tell you it doesn't have any effect. So you can have your implants and breastfeed if you want to. Yeah.
Okay. All right, viewers, we have at least 100 people here. At the point, we had over 160. Please send in your questions if you have any.
Okay. What time are
Um,
we finishing? Are we doing 2 hours or 1 hour? I can't remember now.
we can go for
It's a free day.
1 hour,
Okay.
30 minutes at least, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
All
so
right.
there's a question from Chigozie Faith Ozo. Doctor, my breast milk flow even when I don't eat, though the milk is not usually creamy. Does such milk contain nutrients?
Are you a nursing mother or you are not breastfeeding? I need to understand that first. So it's really need to be clear. So is your breast milk flowing when you are not eating as a breastfeeding mother, or your milk is flowing even though you are not having a baby? I need to understand that. So you need to quickly answer that question because there are the two of them are possible, and I need to answer it the right way. So, but if I assume you are a breastfeeding mother, since you're on ATP, there's nothing wrong. You don't need to eat for your breast milk to flow now. Your breast milk flows in response to your baby. If the body has to break you down to make breast milk, they will. That's why somebody is complaining that they are losing weight. You don't need to eat to breastfeed your baby because the body will look for the milk, will break your body down. It will break your own cells down and use it to make breast milk. So there's nothing wrong with that. So the milk that flows out first, what we call the form milk, is not creamy. It is actually water. It's a lot more water. That's the first milk. Then the milk that comes towards the end, what we call the hind milk, is the fatty one. That's the one that gives baby satiety. So the first set of milk that comes out is to cool the thirst of the baby. Then the last set of milk that comes out is to fill up the baby. It contains more fat and it gives that satiety, that feeling of fullness to the baby. That is why it's important that your baby suck on the breast for at least 20 minutes so that the baby gets both the fore milk and the hind milk. Some babies only take that fore milk and then the mother has quickly switch them over. So that's why those babies within another 1 hour again they are hungry because they have not gotten that fullness because they didn't get the hind milk. So it is important that mothers, you empty one breast. You will know when your breast is empty. You will feel that breast feeling so light. When your breast is full, you also know you feel that breast feeling so heavy. Then when the baby suck on it, you will just feel that hey, this breast is empty. So make sure at least 10 to 20 minutes, baby should suck on one breast. Then you switch to the next breast. That's another thing I need to address. Some mothers breastfeed on only one breast. This is wrong. You must alternate the breast when breastfeeding. So your baby must finish one breast. If after finishing one breast, baby is fine, no problem. You can put the baby to sleep. Then, but the next time you want to start with the other breast, not the one the baby just finished. Start with the other breast. But sometimes your baby will finish one breast and they are saying, "Oh, okay, change them to the second breast so that they can now suck again." But the most important thing is that the baby empty, they must empty that breast. It's also important for that demand and supply mechanism to work. When the baby empty the breast, then more will be produced. And sometimes you see that when you are breastfeeding on one breast, the other one will be leaking out as well because it's also being milk is being released, so you can express that one and keep that one. So that's a very efficient way of beginning to store your breast milk. So if you have even electric pump, you just attach that pump and then your breastfeeding one, that one is filling up. And that's it. That's how you start gathering your breast milk for when you will not be home and all that. Yeah.
All right. So she
Yes. Okay.
responded.
She was there. You say a nursing mom. So yes, I've answered your question. Your breastfeeding is not dependent on your eating. It's dependent on your baby. Your baby crying, your baby sucking on the breast. Even you thinking about your baby alone. You don't, mothers always say that now. Like my mom used it, like when you're out and your baby is somewhere else, you just start seeing your breast dripping. That is why we wear all this, what do people call it again?
The bra
Nipple,
pad.
whatever.
Yeah.
Breast pad. That's why you put on
Yeah.
breast pad now, because your milk can leak. When the milk is full and baby is demanding somewhere, even though you are not there, the breast is sensing that the owner needs this milk and it will start coming out. So you are the one that now need to quickly make sure you transport yourself and give the owner of the milk the milk. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Please send in questions. We have another 7 minutes before we round this up because we have a watch party waiting for us. Right.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Today the watch party.
yeah,
I thought it's tomorrow. Okay.
so it's today, but we're
It's
running
today.
late because we started a little bit behind schedule because of
Okay.
technological issues. Yeah.
No problem.
So Linda Smith is asking, Doctor, can breastfeeding cause sagging?
Hmm. This question people have been asking me all the time. I would say yes if you want me to say yes, but I don't think it's just about breastfeeding because I've seen people who have not breastfed whose breasts who also have flat breasts and all that. So I think it's a individual thing. You understand? It's an individual thing. So don't because of that say you are not going to breastfeed your baby. That's just where I'm going. So the breastfeeding, when you're breastfeeding, make sure you wear proper bras. Make sure that when you are weaning your baby, you use very supportive bras and all that. Then you'll be fine. And if your breast sag and it's a bothersome thing to you, okay, see the cosmetic surgeons. They know what to do to it, but it is not breastfeeding that will make your breast to be flat. There are a lot of people that have not breastfed and also have flat breasts. So I would say it's more of an individual body constitution than breastfeeding. I also know people who have breastfed and their breasts are still okay and not sagging. So it's individual.
Yeah. Oluchi is saying, answer my questions, please. Oluchi, we've answered
Which
every
question,
question.
no?
I
Which
think
question?
you
I think
logged,
we've answered all the questions we've seen from Oluchio.
she must have logged off. This was her question, right?
Yes,
About
we've
a baby
answered this
that stopped.
question now. We've answered
You
that
did.
question soon.
You were not here, ma'am. Apologies. All
Oluchi,
right.
you can watch the video all over again, and you will hear the answer to your question, so that we don't repeat ourselves too much. You will hear the answer to your question if you rewatch. But basically, there's no problem. What we just said that that baby is at risk of infections because breast milk, the antibodies and all those things that are in breast milk that your baby has lost, I mean, the baby is not getting, put that baby at risk of infections, yeah. So that's just
Okay.
it.
All right. Oluchi, who answered that. Hope is saying, okay, let's just comment Hope for this thing. She wrote, said, I have twin boys who are 5 months now and on
Wow.
exclusive breastfeeding since birth. It has not been
Congratulations, Hope.
easy, but it's worth it.
I hope okay. We're going to give Hope a recharge card for this breastfeeding testimony. Okay, I think Vera, you should take note of that. To just send Hope Oluchi. Okay,
Hope,
I
please
think you should
send us
hope
a
to send
message.
us you can send us your details. Either send it to Angela or myself or to Vera James. Send it to one of us. At least we will
Yeah.
just send it in your name with this name, oh Polucci, that we know, so that we know it is you. So you can send us your network, and then we will give you the recharge card as for
All
being
right.
a very efficient. I mean, for practicing what we preach. I love
Congrats,
it when people.
congrats, congrats.
Yeah, I love it when mothers who have twins are exclusively breastfeeding because then I can tell those who have one baby and they are telling me they can't breastfeed that they don't have any excuse. Really, okay. So please, you can. So mothers with twins are exclusive breastfeeding, and yeah, it has not been easy. I know it is never easy. Even with a one baby, it's never easy, but it is what it. That's it. That's it. So, well
Okay.
done.
All right. We will take this one last question and then that will be it. Alex Uche is asking, can a breastfeeding mother take apple cider vinegar as means to lose weight?
I don't even know what apple cider vinegar does, but my general answer to this question is that when you are breastfeeding, we don't want you to be taking any weight loss uh, program or regimen. It's better to wait. We expect you to eat sensibly. We expect you to exercise, but we don't want you to use any products, tablets, substances, because those substances can pass via breast milk to your baby and your baby may react to them. So it is not because those substances are dangerous to you. No, not that they are dangerous to you, but we don't know how good they have for the baby. What if they start making the baby to lose weight as well? So we prefer you don't do any weight loss supplements when you're breastfeeding, whether it's the lemon water, whether it's the which other one people do now. There's so many of them people do. You can eat sensibly, you can reduce your calories, you can exercise, but when it comes to tablets, supplements, blah blah, everything targeted towards weight loss for a breastfeeding mothers, the answer is a no. I would say no. Wait until you stop breastfeeding before using any of those ones. For meanwhile, drink lots of water, eat sensibly. You can eat for one, don't eat for two, and then exercise. That you are comfortable, even walking, whatever exercise you're comfortable with, that is okay for us. But don't use any of those other things because of the baby, not because of you, but because of the baby. That's our main worries. Yeah.
Okay, you have it there. That will be all today. Oh, Oluchi said she sent a video on Instagram. It's not been accepted. Oluchi, please send me a message right now with your Instagram handle on Facebook,
Some
and I
of
will
you,
make sure I'll
some of
follow up with this.
you. Okay.
Just,
Okay.
yeah,
Good.
I'll follow up.
Okay.
Send me a message now. I'll respond. So because we have a watch party to go over to, we will be ending this now. As usual, if you have more questions, send them, and then our moderators and our professionals will all answer it. And remember, when you breastfeed, you are saving the planet. When the planet is safe, everyone is happy, and we will all flourish. Dr. Bemi, any last word from you before we leave? Oh, she left. Hi, Dr. Bemi. We just wanted the last word from you. Are you there? Let me just add her to
Oh,
this.
sorry, I don't know. I was trying to press something. I think I pressed the wrong button. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much, Angela, for this wonderful hosting. And of course, we know that we cannot finish answering all your questions in 2 hours, even if it stayed the whole 24 hours. So, but if you have questions, please don't leave it on the video. Please post your question on our Facebook group from Mondays to Saturdays so that we can answer. Then for those who send videos, the video was supposed to be sent to ask the pediatricians email address ask@askpediatric.com. So some of you send it to our Gmail. I forwarded it for it to be posted, but I guess it may have caused a delay in your video being uploaded. But I'm sure they are working hard on it. But the most important thing is that whichever time we get your video, we will still upload it. And well, it may affect your winning the prize, I guess. So no problem. But thank you so much, and thank you for all of you that are breastfeeding your babies. Opoluche especially, I'm very impressed with you, and all those who have exclusive breastfed your babies, whether single or twins. Congratulations, and more importantly, I know your babies are happy for it, and so thank you so much for being part of uh our ATP breastfeeding success stories. That's how I'm going to put it. And we'll see you again for the rest of the week. I think I'll see you again on Friday on ATP Live on Instagram, and that'll be our final program for this breastfeeding week. So
All
from me,
right.
it's bye for now.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We sincerely appreciate. Don't forget, tomorrow is Breastfeeding Quiz Day. It's going to be exciting, and you know that our gifts are never cheap, both financial gifts and then access to our world-class professionals. So tomorrow is the day. Be there. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of Dr. Bemisola Boyede, the moderators, the supervisors, the coordinators, and the admin, have a very good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.